Trayvon Martin before?
Yeah.
Well, Darius Simmons was Milwaukee's Trayvon Martin. Darius Simmons happened during the time of also the Bo Morris incident. You guys are familiar with the Bo Morris incident? Where he was another young man. This is when the council doctor-in-law came into play. Another young man was at a party. Allegedly, he had too many drinks. He wound up stumbling on a resident's front porch, and the resident came out and shot the man and killed him point-blank range. And these two incidents were Milwaukee's Trayvon Martin's. You know, a lot of the times we look at incidents like Jordan Davis or Trayvon Martin, and we look at these individuals and, you know, we associate their fight with our fight without sometimes realizing that in our own communities we have some of these our own injustices, our own Trayvon Martins. And the reason why we walk down these neighborhoods and we say, what's his name, Darius Simmons, or what's his name, Derek Williams, or what's his name, what was the young man's name that died?
Corey Stingley.
Corey Stingley, thank you. You know, because if we don't remember their names, and sometimes their names go unheard, they go unrecognized. And a lot of the time, if it's not for people to spread their voices, to tell a story that they didn't get a chance to tell their stories, then it will never happen. Just like Trayvon Martin, if people wasn't on Facebook, if people wasn't on Twitter, if people wasn't making YouTube videos about what happened to Trayvon Martin, and Jasiri X wouldn't have made a song about what happened to Trayvon Martin, then Trayvon Martin's story would have never been told. And it's the same way with Darius Simmons, and it's the same way with everyone else who we have to recognize, and we have to begin to tell our story. We have to tell our own story, because we cannot expect from mainstream media to tell our injustices. Johnson, okay. 19, thank you very much. All right. So before we go to John Spooner, to the direct house, can we talk about Corey Springer?
Stingley.
Can you talk about Corey Stingley, please?
Corey Stingley was a young man that lived in my neighborhood, went to the same high school I graduated from, and I was very close with his sister. And I give my blessings to his sister and the rest of the Stingley family. They've held up very strong during all this. At a convenience store on 92nd and Schlinger in West Dallas, and by the way, West Dallas is renowned for being racist and racially profiling. Not only the police, but the vigilantes that roam the streets of West Dallas as well. He went to the convenience store, and supposedly he was trying to shoplift. Three people took the law in their own hands, apprehended him. He gave what he was trying to shoplift back to the store owner. Then after that, after they went out of the store, the three vigilantes proceeded to put him in a chokehold, hit him in the face, kick him while he was down. The West Dallas police came to the scene, and he was not breathing. You don't just come to the scene of the crime and have the person not bleeding or not breathing like I didn't know that he wasn't breathing. There was three vigilantes standing around a dead man, and that sounds like murder to me. He was in a coma, and the doctors did not know the extent of his brain damage, and they ended up taking him off life support, and he passed away December 29th. And this is said, we have two types of vigilantes that we need to worry about in the streets. We have the police that do not go by police conduct, that are no better than the vigilantes that walk the streets trying to take the law in their own hands. Our youth are not safe on the streets. And if I were to bring a child into this world, I would have to worry about that child's life every day, and the safety of that child. So I appreciate everyone being out here, and we need to keep the struggle alive. We need to keep the awareness, because when the awareness is gone, the world is not going to turn into a safer place. It's going to get more dangerous day by day.
Can we just have a moment of silence? for Corey Stingling, and Darius Simmons, and also Derek Williams, who was killed in the backseat of a police car after begging for 10 minutes that he could not breathe, which was also figured out that the police was also on some other misconducts during the time when Darius Simmons had died in the backseat of their police car. These were the same officers who were involved in illegal strip searches. These were the same officers who got away with other crimes that have been reported against them and are still on the force today with pay. So these are all injustices that we have to acknowledge as a community. And they bet on us not standing up. They bet, they make their money off of the people not coming together. They get away with murder off of the fact that the people won't come together. Now, in our community, when the murder takes place, the police come, they arrest the suspect, and they go through the proper protocol and due process. But what we have is when the system gets away with murder, there's no one there to hold them accountable for their wrongdoing. Now, Derek Williams was murdered. After a year later, after they had reversed the decision and said that he died from sickle cell, then they went back and said, well, no, he was murdered. It was a bone broken in the back of his neck, so some way it interfered with his air pipe. But no one was held accountable. How can you have a murder with no murderer? So this is what we're saying as a community. We are calling for a citizen arrest of the injustices that's taking place in our neighborhood. So before we go and we call for the citizen arrest of Bob Donovan, let's have a moment of silence for all of those that we lost by the hands of injustices, but also by the hands of our own community due to gun violence. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
However, we cannot let their peace go in vain. Sometimes when people are killed in the streets, it's easy for us to say rest in peace, but there is no peace until there's justice. And there will be no peace until there's justice. So we have to keep the fight up, and we have to fight for justice, and we have to fight for those who are not fighting for themselves. We have to fight for those who cannot stand up and speak anymore. We have to fight for those who are afraid to stand up and speak because in fear of what may happen to them, what may happen to their families, what may happen to their careers. So we have to be the ones to be the voice in our community and fight for the justices even when other people are afraid to do so themselves. Would anybody else like to speak? Say anything?
About 6 years ago, December 31st, 06, I had a cousin, his name is Andrew Lacey. He was killed in Huntsville, Alabama. He was stabbed, and, you know what I'm saying, it took the police an hour to get to where he was at. He was sitting in his car for about an hour. He was already, he had lost a lot of blood. He had passed out, you know what I'm saying. It took him a whole hour to get there, you know what I'm saying. And within that hour, they got there a lot sooner than what they did, you know what I'm saying. My cousin would still be here. But December 31st made it 6 years that he's been gone, you know what I'm saying. And, the people that did this, you know what I'm saying, not even a month, 2 months, 3 months after his death, they let two of the people go, and then just recently, the dude was supposed to be serving 20 for life. They just recently let him go too. So it's just like he died in vain. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's so crazy about everything? We went to his court date for the people to get sentenced, and it was so crazy because it was like my cousin was there. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole time that the people was on the stand, the lights in the courtroom kept flickering on and off. You know what I'm saying? It was like he was trying to tell them that these people killed me, and I didn't do anything, you know what I'm saying, to deserve any of this. You know what I'm saying? They set my cousin up and had him come to a vacant apartment building. You know what I'm saying? They took the girl's phone from the place where he worked at, and the dude had his girlfriend guys ran upstairs, and my cousin fought for his life, but at the same time, he didn't know he had got stabbed 3 times. He got stabbed 3 times in the heart. You know what I'm saying? He still managed to run and get to his car, you know what I'm saying? And it was just that. That's why I'm thankful to be out here, you know what I'm saying? Because I got to speak for my cousin, you know what I'm saying? I got 2 little kids out here. I got a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, and I wouldn't live my life, you know what I'm saying, just to sit here and let my kids, you know what I'm saying, me having to worry about everything that's going on now, you know what I'm saying, because once my kids get older, if everything like this keeps continuing, I mean, life ain't gonna get no better. That's why I'm very thankful for everybody that's out here, you know what I'm saying. At this point in time, I'm very thankful to be here. You know what I'm saying, at 09, I almost died, you know what I'm saying. I was playing basketball, I passed out, I had to have a heart catheterization because, you know what I'm saying, I was playing basketball and my heart was beating so fast and pumping so much blood that it caused me to pass out. And I died, you know what I'm saying. I'm just thankful to be here, you know what I'm saying. To be here for my kids, you know what I'm saying, and everything. I've been on my own since I was 16 years old, so I'm just out here trying to make it. And I hope everybody is, you know what I'm saying, on the same thing that I am.
Anybody else here?
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jarvis. Some people might know me as Mecca. You know, I do music locally. In 2006, I was around the murder. I was actually in the car of the person that actually committed the crime. I was in the back seat. And just to briefly explain what happened that night, a friend of mine was driving. The guy that was in the passenger was the one that committed it. He saw somebody outside of this bar that we were at to get after our liquor. My friend that was driving went inside. Me and the other guy was still inside. Now I know this guy. I actually know him from the neighborhood. I don't really mess with him because I knew he was an idiot and he was involved in you know, stuff that, you know, I don't really get down with. So he saw this guy outside that he knew. He knew him personally. They was talking for a minute as if they were cool, they were real close or whatever. The little guy, the guy that was outside of the car, he was 16 years old. You know, he was out there reckless, he had a pistol on him. And, you know, they was talking, he's like, yeah, you know, I got this pistol, I'm gonna hold the block down. They talking about the pistol, he let him see it, gave it to him, he gave it back. They're still talking at this point. My friend gets out the bar, comes back in the car, and starts the car. Before we pull off, he tells my man, like, yo, don't pull off yet, let me show you something. He then calls the little guy, and mind you, it's 15 people outside of the actual bar that we were at. He called him back and was like, yo, let me see that gun, my mans might want to buy it. We didn't say anything about purchasing this weapon. He lends him the gun again. He leans over as if he was showing my mans and shot him with his own pistol. Right there, just clean cut. Just shot him with his own pistol 5 times. It was a 25 revolver. If y'all know what guns are, it's 25 revolver. It was a 5-shot. He fired 4 shots in his chest. One of the shots ended up hitting the inside of the car. Okay? Now, I'm spooked. It's a murder. I'm not speaking to nobody about it. The person that did it actually went out to the block, told everybody what he did. Pretty much in a nutshell, I ended up having to clear my name from the situation. I did cooperate with the police because, excuse my French, I'm a, you know, acronym, it was BS. You know what I mean? Nobody deserves, I don't care what they're doing, nobody deserves their life to be taken away from them. Period. The little kid was 16 years old. This happened on June 7th. I found out the kid died on my birthday, which was June 9th. This happened in 2006. To this day, I'm still dealing with this. Because of the fact that I cooperated with the police, I am labeled a snitch. I'm labeled a sellout in my hood. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn. Because at the end of the day, don't never put me in a situation where the police are looking for me at this point and my name is tagged to a homicide. That's an easy 30 years. If this would have happened in Texas, if this same scenario would have happened in Texas, the judge would have definitely threw the gavel down on all of us just because we were there. I was fortunate enough to get out of the situation, not have to go to trial for anything in that nature due to my cooperation. So the reason why I'm saying this is be strong. Don't give a damn about what nobody think about you, man. Because at the end of the day, all you have is your life. At the end of the day, all you have is your freedom. And what's wrong is wrong. So continue to stand up for what's wrong and we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's wrong. I did 5.5 years, bro, for some stuff that they set me up. They set me up with some dope, bro. I did 5.5 years, bro, for some shit I didn't even have on, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
And, you know, there's no way I can beat the case because there was 2 cops against me. It was on 14th and Greenfield. It's back in like '99, bro. And